Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins, and we continue this series that we started a few weeks ago to try to help stay connected with the Furman family and fan base during the quarantines and everything else we're under during the COVID-19 shutdown. And man, we have had a good time, and we expect today to continue that stretch. We're going to have the honor today of spending some time with four of our senior athletes who have just graduated from, I guess, officially now Furman grads, right? So you should be getting those requests for donations to the Paladin Club in the mail very soon. But Savannah Carnahan from cross country and track is with us. Katarina Kozarov from the tennis team is with us. Layton from the football team is here. And Jordan Lyons from basketball is with us. So as normal, what we'll do is have you submit questions to either Ty or myself via private message in the chat function. And we'll spend about 45 minutes or so letting these four young people just talk about their Furman experience and what the future holds and whatever else we can drag out of them. Because we know, especially Jordan, he's so shy. He hates to talk, right? Yeah, look at that smile. He can't wait for the mute button to come off. We also have a fun little poll concerning these four that we'll drop on you here in just a little bit. But let's start with just letting each of them make a little bit of an opening statement, kind of how they're doing, how they've been doing during the shutdown, and what it feels like to be a graduate now. So Savannah, going alphabetically by last name, we'll start with you. Savannah Carnahan, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. I'm really happy to be done with school now. That was exciting. Also, the math and chem departments, I'm a double major in applied math and chemistry. They did a really good job of kind of having a mini graduation ceremony type of thing for us. And that was really, really touching, and I really appreciated that. Also, for those of you who don't know, I run cross country and outdoor track, and so I got two of my seasons this year, but the third one obviously didn't end up happening, the outdoor track season. So I've just kind of coming off of a couple weeks off of running and just kind of slowly getting back into it and getting back rolling, and yeah, that's basically what I've been up to.
So just a double major and just three sports. Couldn't you have thrown another major in there just to give you something else to do?
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of free time. Could have really thrown in that third major. That would have been a move.
I love it. Thank you, Savannah. Katarina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you guys are doing good too. I'm this time's been it's been good, but finally tennis courts are opening up. They were shut down. All the public and private courts were shut down. So hopefully in the next week or so, I'll be able to get back on the court now that the school is over. But honestly, still feels surreal to be done with school.
Layton, how are things with you, my friend?
Things are great. Everything was kind of unexpected, and nobody really expected to stay home for the rest of the semester, leaving for spring break. But like I said, things are great. I just graduated with a degree in biology. I've been spending most of my time right now studying for the MCAT at home because I'm trying to go to medical school this following year. But yeah, things are good. Staying busy. Went and played tennis the other day. So yeah, things are great.
Ironically, that might kind of lead us into our poll here in just a little bit. That might be a little sneak preview of what the poll question is. Jordan Lyons, big smile, big personality. How you doing, my friend?
Can you guys hear me? Everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. The times are tough, but it's been good for me. I've been able to kind of reflect on just my 4-year journey and been able to spend a lot of time with my family, which is a lot of time that I haven't been able to have necessarily just in length this long due to just being a student athlete for so long. So it's been really good to just kind of kick it back with my family. Really enjoy spending time with them. You know, the Michael Jordan documentaries have given me some grace. I've been able to have some basketball on TV, which has done a lot for me. But other than that, I've been well. I've been doing good. Just trying to stay in shape to the best of my ability. I was able to get into a gym yesterday and work out basketball for the first time in a long time, and it felt like paradise. So that was soothing for my soul. But other than that, been doing well. Just graduated with a communication studies degree. So like my fellow classmates says, kind of surreal being finished with school. The 4 years went by so fast, but just in a lot of this time, I've been able to reflect on the 4 years, and it's truly been a great 4 years. So looking forward to it. But I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well as well.
That's good to hear. It's good to see all four of you smiling. And I know a lot of that is due that, hey, you finally got that degree, right? You don't have to take classes anymore unless you're going to medical school, and that's a whole other story. But that's a smile of relief that I can see for the most part. Savannah, how's your conditioning? You mentioned you've not been able to run for a couple of weeks, or you've taken a couple of weeks off. Are you starting to get back into conditioned shape now?
I would say we're still a little ways from full condition shape, but yeah, we normally take a couple weeks off after the season ends, and I tried to keep running and keep training pretty hard for a few weeks there, and then it became clear to me that I needed to take that time. And yeah, I'm definitely a little out of shape right now, but I'm really enjoying the running and kind of getting back into it and not having a really strict plan. So that's been fun.
I guess we have to qualify out of shape as a matter of perspective for some of us. So again, so you can submit your questions on the chat function to either Ty or myself. Send it as a private message. We get this rare opportunity to spend this kind of time with four of our athletes. So let's take advantage of it over this next 45 minutes. Katarina, let me start with you here. When did you know that you wanted to be a college athlete?
So I went to IMG Academy in Florida, and honestly, going there as a freshman when I was 14, coming all the way from Serbia, a lot of them wanted to go turn professionally. But over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, a lot of things have shifted, and they were preparing us for college, not professional in sport anymore. So, and honestly, on that side, academics have always been important to me. And luckily, Coach Adam reached out to me my senior year. I was a very late coming into college. I think I signed for Furman end of January my senior year. So I got very fortunate and lucky there to find such an amazing school that laid on.
Where were you considering prior to Coach Herendeen reaching out to you?
Some of them were Boston College, George Washington, and College of Charleston at that time.
Well, it's a good thing that Adam stepped in when he did, right?
That's right.
Jordan, when did you know that you wanted to be a college athlete?
I've known for a while. It's actually funny. A lot of the football staff is in here, so I played football for pretty much my entire life as well. So for the longest, kind of growing up, I never knew which one I really wanted to pursue. And it was going into the 10th grade is when basketball really took that separator for me. And that's the one that I decided I really wanted to pursue to play in college. But for the longest, I knew I wanted to play either one of those in college. I'd say really from middle school, kind of when I really knew I wanted to play one of them. And then going into the 10th grade is when I really wanted to lock in on basketball. And that's kind of when my recruitment started to start for basketball. So that's kind of when it got serious for me, kind of going into the 10th grade sophomore year is really when I decided to lock in and really wanted to make it a passion of mine and really wanted to pursue it.
Thank you, Jordan. Bo, what was your age when you started playing football?
So let's see. I started playing football when I was like 7 or 8. So I was one of those kids that you see them in the youth league and their helmets are way bigger like than the rest of their body, and so they're kind of leaning over. I was one of those kids, but like I said, I started at 7 or 8, played all the way through middle school. And then I actually took 8th grade off because honestly, I was just kind of burnt out. And I had always played baseball, and I wanted to focus on baseball because I thought baseball was going to be my thing. But I'm honestly really glad I took that year off because it made me realize like how much I missed, and I loved football. And like that was my real passion. But I can remember always growing up thinking that I wanted to play college football. I was like a big Florida fan, so watching Tebow and all those guys like back in their prime was awesome, and I wanted that. So like junior year of high school, I started getting a little exposure for football and started getting a few offers, and I was fortunate enough to get one from Furman and come here and be a Paladin. So I loved it.
I see both Clay Hendricks and George Quarles on here. He made the Tebow era sound like it was ages ago, didn't he? It's not these young guys. I'd say there's an old saying that youth is wasted on the young. Savannah, Emily Little sent this question specifically to you. Wants to know what a typical day looks like for you. Could you break down specifically when you started or when you studied, when you practiced, when you went to bed, how you managed your training demands as well as academics?
Yeah, so it depends on what season you're in a lot. So during cross country season in the fall, we have morning practice. So I'll get up around like 5:30 to 6-ish to get ready for that, get breakfast, get coffee, all of that, and just kind of wake myself up before I get to practice. 6:30, end up at practice. That's normally like 2-ish hours, 2.5 hours, somewhere in there. And then depending on what time my first class is, I'll normally have time to like shower real quick, get breakfast, all of that, normally have a snack coming to practice. And then go to class for a little bit. And then I normally have like a couple of like 2-hour gaps. So I use those to get some homework done. And I'm terrible about working in the afternoon, but I try to like get something done in the afternoon after my classes are over. And then normally have another practice around 5 or 5:30, which is shorter, normally like 45 minutes or so. And then I have dinner after that. And then hopefully I don't have any more homework at that point and I can just chill out and not do it. Try to plan to not have any homework at that time. I also really try to get a lot of homework knocked out on the weekends, just because I work really well having really long blocks of time, and we have less intense like practices and stuff on the weekends, so it's a little easier to get stuff done. And then normally go to bed around ideally 9:30. Try to get those 8 to 9 hours of sleep and wake up, do it again. And that's not every day. It varies a lot based on what classes I have on a given day. A lot of times I don't have a lot of Tuesday, Thursday classes. But yeah, you just really have to be good about getting stuff done that isn't due like the next week, and just kind of getting ahead a little bit, and also just prioritizing. Like I really try to hit the books really hard early in the semester so that later in the semester during championship season, I don't have to worry about it as much.
Katarina, does that schedule sound familiar to you at all?
Very familiar. Our season is kind of all year round as well, especially with my individual tournaments in the fall. I was actually gone a lot more than I expected. I would miss around 3 weeks or 4 weeks total of school, as those tournaments in the fall, they last for a week long. So I ended up going to California twice for a week long, and to All-Americans where I spent actually 10 days, as I got a chance to play with my doubles partner Julia as well in the qualifying. We qualified for main draw and played the main draw of singles as well. So, and in the spring we travel a lot. A lot of our matches are Fridays and Sundays. So luckily I finished my business degree last in the fall, so I only had 2 Spanish classes to finish my Spanish degree in the spring as well. So probably this spring semester was the easiest one yet.
Jordan, I think one thing that probably more people know now than they used to, but still, I don't think people outside of the realm of college athletics really understand is for you guys, all of you athletes, there's really no off season anymore. You are doing something year round, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, you have your window of months where you're playing games, but all the other months are all about, you know, getting better individually and getting better as a team. So by the time the games come, you're as prepared as you can be. There's really no time when you have a championship program or a program who year in and year out is striving to compete for championships. There's really no time to take months or time off because all those months and time off that you take, there's other programs in your league and around the country who are maximizing that time, and you never want to feel like you as a program or you as an individual is wasting time, or you have a certain time period where you're not getting better. I know on the basketball side, we go year round, and you know they schedule it the right way, but you know we're always getting better in some aspect, whether it's individually and team wise. So yeah, there's really no off season, as you call it, because you know year round you're always trying to get better, and you're always evaluating yourself and evaluating your team and to see what's best for you and what's best for the program and how you can always improve and put yourself in best position to be able to compete for a championship.
Thank you, Jordan. By the way, I need to mention that our Lunch and Learn gathering today is presented by a great friend of Furman Athletics, C. Dan Joyner. So we appreciate them stepping to the plate to help us put this together. Bo, a message for you and then a question. The message, Miss Tracy wants you to know how much your positivity and smile is going to be missed. And then the question from a trainer who will remain anonymous wants to know how it worked out growing up in Knoxville being a Gator fan.
Yeah, that's probably Craig, I'm guessing. What's up, Craig? But yeah, things were tough because, you know, everybody here is all Vol and everybody bleeds orange and white. But I didn't get picked on too bad. I guess I got spared. It kind of helped that, I guess, Florida was kind of the team back in the day, you know, so I guess they had a few fans sprinkled around the area that I could kind of, you know, buddy up with.
So are you telling us you were a bandwagon jumper?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was. I had no connections, no connections to Florida at all. But so both of my parents went to Memphis, University of Memphis. So my dad grew up not really liking the Vols. So from an early age, that's kind of how I was too. And so I guess it helped that Florida was the team to like during the day, you know?
I got you. Well, listen, I appreciate your honesty. People who are bandwagon fans will deny it until their dying day. So,
I was, you know, guilty.
Hey, before we get to the next question, Ty, you want to drop the poll on them? I think Ty's going to put the poll up on the screen. We thought we'd have a little fun. We got 4 senior athletes here. Which of the 4 would best perform in one of the other sports? Jordan Lyons in football, which is probably a bit of a loaded question. Katarina in basketball, Savannah in tennis, or Bo Layton in cross country. I can already see, I think we're going to have a runaway winner on this one, but we thought we'd have a little bit of fun with that poll, and we'll announce the results coming up in just a little while. Let's go back to Savannah and actually probably want to get a little bit of response from all 4 of you on this question, but I'll start with Savannah. Anonymous wants to know if you can tell us how Furman athletes interact with other students at the school. Do you primarily spend all your time with teams or other athletes, or do you have time to mix in with the general student population as well?
Yeah, I mean, I personally spend a lot of time with my team. Like, that's a lot of my socialization, but definitely like my majors, I think both of them were pretty close too. So I got to spend a lot of time with them. And you know, the Furman student body as a whole is really great. And I really enjoyed getting to know and meet a lot of them, especially like my freshman hall was awesome. It was in Blackwell. So, you know, you're always kind of out of your rooms, meeting other people. And so, yeah, that was a really great experience. So yeah, I definitely spend a lot of time with my team, but I definitely have some really great friends off the team as well.
Katarina, did you find yourself drifting more towards your own teammates or other athletes just by the nature of what you do?
Sure, I definitely do spend a lot of time with my team, but I actually had a great opportunity. I lived with a golfer and a basketball player this year. So it was my fellow teammate, Danny Mines, along with Natalie and Milica from basketball. So we had a great apartment and get to interact with different teams. And also, I think our team does a great job of reaching out to other teams as well as sometimes, especially in the fall when a lot of us are not traveling. So we get to go to a lot of basketball games and a lot of fortunately get to see my roommate Natalie play golf, but I could have been happier for winning National Player of the Year. So
yeah, how about that? How about Furman getting some more national publicity? That was fantastic. And we got an assistant coach on here who got a little bit of accolades today as well. Jimmy Williams got named one of the top 50 assistant basketball coaches, influential basketball coaches in the country. So congratulations, Jimmy, on that. Jordan Lyons pumping the fist there. Jordan, the one thing I've noticed since I've been here talking about how athletes intermingle with the rest of the student body is that athletes from different sports really seem to go out of their way to support the other sports on campus. I mean, we see football players in the front row of the student section at basketball games. I see a number of you guys out at baseball games at Layton Stadium. There seems to be a real camaraderie for athletes supporting other athletes on this campus.
Absolutely. You know, I think that's one of the beauties of the size of Furman. Since it's not a large school enrollment wise, you know, we get to really get to know people, and we get to really build relationships with people. And I think, you know, for athletes supporting athletes, it's one of those things where, you know, we can relate to each other. We know what the grind is like. You know, we have a lot of respect for each other in the aspect of we all are in our respective sports, but we all know the true grit and grind of being a student athlete, especially at a school like Furman, where the academic side of it is so prestigious, and the athletic side is also very competitive and very elite as well. So, you know, us athletes, we have a lot of respect for each other, just in the sense that we know what each other's going through. You know, it's very tough to be a student athlete and to be able to manage it, but you gain a lot of respect for people when you know what they're going through and you see them succeeding through that. And, you know, it's awesome to see other people that you know and you build relationships with succeed. You know, you always want to find happiness, you know, other than yourself. And, you know, when you're able to go to games and see people succeed that you know and that are in the same kind of situations as you and can relate to you, that always brings added happiness to you. And, you know, it's good to be able to support each other because we can relate. We know what each other's going through. We've been able to build relationships with each other due to the fact that, you know, we don't go to a school that has 25,000 students. You know, we're able to really lock in and get to know each other. And especially as you get older, over the years, you're able to build relationships and you always want to see people, you know, succeed. So it's been good. It's really good that we support each other. That's one of the best things about being a Furman athlete is that, you know, athletes really do support each other. And that's something that I'm definitely appreciative of.
This next question is for all four of you. Caitlin Bernardi wants to know what's the neatest place sports have allowed you to travel to, and she also wants to know if next time you go, will you take her with you? Start with Bo Layton.
Let's see. Football let me go to a lot of cool places. Let's see. 3 that come to mind would be sophomore year. We got to fly up to Colgate, up in New York. And that was cool. One, because we got to take a plane. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty rare thing to do with your whole team. So that was awesome. And two, that was, I believe it was our first win under Coach Hendricks, under the new coaching staff. So that was big for us. NC State that year was pretty cool. Clemson junior year was awesome, getting to play in Death Valley. It was so loud. It was hot, but it was awesome. But probably the coolest environment we played in was Virginia Tech this year. Playing Inner Sandman and their whole thing when they run out was awesome. It was just like an electric atmosphere. We played a close game. We had that game. Just let it slip at the end. It's killer. But, yeah, probably those four are probably the coolest places football has taken me.
That Inner Sandman is a lot more impressive when they do it at night. And it used to be on Thursday nights. That was their thing. Thank you, Bo. Savannah, where's the neatest place that sports has taken you?
Well, let's see. For cross country, I think our entire team would say unanimously that our Chicago trip, our junior year, was amazing. We were racing at Notre Dame, and we came through Chicago on the way back, and we got to take like a river tour and architecture tour, which sounds mildly lame, but it was amazing. It was so cool. Just seeing all the buildings and seeing Coach Gary, seeing all the buildings. If anyone knows Coach Gary, he loves Chicago. So that was neat. And then my sophomore year at nationals, for track, getting to run at Hayward Field. That was actually the second to last race before they, tore the stands down and started doing all of that. But I ran the 5K, which is a 12.5 lap race, and it's not that often that you're right smack in the middle of it and nothing is happening really in the race, and you're still getting a roar on the backstretch. And that was just an amazing experience. So yeah, those are two of my favorites for sure.
Katarina, what about you?
Our team has also been to Chicago, which is definitely one of the most fun trips we've been on. But actually, college tennis has taken me to some incredible places. Actually, just this year, I was in California 3 times. In the fall, I played Oracle tournament in September in Malibu, and I ended up going back for fall championships in Newport. And we just had our team spring break trip in San Francisco, which is incredible, until Corona shut it down and found out our season was over there. But honestly, I think as a team environment, playing at one of the places was NCAA's every year. We play some of the top schools in the country, and the atmosphere when we go there, it's just incredible. Coach Bernardi can join us in one of those NCAA team trips. They're so fun.
And Jordan, basketball gave you the opportunity to play in a lot of big venues multiple times every year, right?
Absolutely. Before college, basketball had already taken me a whole lot of places from just playing AAU. The coolest place AAU basketball took me was I got to play in Las Vegas twice, which was really cool. And then coming into college, I would say my junior year, we took 3 really, really cool trips. And the cool thing about what Coach Ritchie and our staff does is when we take those trips, they allocate time for us to go around the city and go to like important landmarks or museums or something like that. So we don't go and just play the game. They allow us to go and see some important things about the place that we're at, which is also really cool. So my junior year, we also went to Chicago, which was a really fun trip. It was also fun because we got the win over Loyola Chicago. We went to New Orleans when we took our LSU trip, and going to New Orleans was cool. We were able to go on the French Quarter and all of that, which was fun. And then the best trip of all was definitely when we went to Philadelphia. Personally, that was my first time going to Philadelphia, so I enjoyed that part in it alone. But obviously the game, the Villanova game, was obviously the cherry on top. So that trip was awesome. But those 3, and all 3 of those trips were in 1 year. So we were kind of blessed that we got to make 3 phenomenal trips in one season and within one non-conference season. So those were, I would say, in college, those were my 3 favorite trips. Although we played in a lot of really cool venues, a lot of big venues every year. The Butler trip my sophomore year was really fun. We played at Tennessee my sophomore year, which was great. Michigan my freshman year. So we've been able to travel to some really, really, really nice venues, and it's truly been a blessing.
Yeah, should have won in Michigan and Knoxville.
Absolutely,
Both of those games.
without a doubt.
Both of those. Savannah, Don wants to know what's been your favorite way of staying in contact with your teammates during the shutdown.
Yeah, we've been texting a lot, and they've been really good about having us continue to have team meetings over Zoom. And I just really also enjoyed calling my teammates. And actually, my roommate Grace. So I was supposed to visit Princeton on a grad trip, like right as all of the coronavirus stuff started happening. So she gave me like a video tour of campus, which was pretty neat. And actually that's where I ended up deciding to go. So it was very, very helpful. But yeah, it's just been really great to have their support, and we're all going through kind of the same thing. So just being able to talk to them and having those open lines of communications has been amazing.
Katarina, Emily wants to know if you have any recommendations for incoming freshmen on how to adjust from being a high school athlete to a college athlete.
I actually thought about a lot of suggestions talking to my freshmen this year, and I think definitely some of them are staying open-minded and realizing that team always comes first. You know, tennis is such an individual sport, and trying to play in such a team environment, it's a complete change. Not sure about other sports, but tennis can be very challenging, especially competing in a lineup where it's all individual but playing for each other. And I think having that feeling, having that mindset that no matter what you do, the team is always first. Whether you're on court, you're losing, you realize like, I'm gonna do my best. And at this moment, it's a team match that matters, not my match. And what our coach always teaches us is that we are supposed to put our opponents first as well. So sometimes you're not in a great state of mind. I think in individual high school tournaments, when someone's not playing great, you just give up. And in college tennis, you can't give up. You gotta give your all, no matter what it is, and no matter if it's not good tennis, but you're putting your team on the line and yourself for the team first. So I think being selfless and being open-minded and staying tough and being really good at communicating with your teammates, no matter what you're going through.
Awesome. Bo, Tyler wants to know, when people ask you about your Furman experience moving forward, how will you describe it to them?
Let's see. Furman was an amazing experience. And I think my experience with Furman isn't just going to be something in the past. Like, it's going to be lifelong, which is awesome. With it being such a small school, I've built so many like awesome connections and friendships and bonds with people that they're just like, I don't know, they're just great bonds with people that I'll carry and have like for the rest of my life. So yeah, Furman, let's see, academically, Furman equipped me with just like a great work ethic because like playing football and like being a student athlete, you have to like, obviously, like you can't sacrifice. You can't sacrifice in the classroom, you can't sacrifice on the field. And so Furman has really just taught me like I have to give 100%. And that's something that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jordan, Kathy and Anders want to know what advice you have for someone who wants to play college basketball.
I would say, you know, just continue to work at all times. You know, you got to have the humility to know that there's always somebody out there that's working harder, and there's always somebody out there that's better than you. And you got to use that to fuel you, to want to be the best that you can. And you know that you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else. If you don't believe in yourself that you can do it, then you can't expect anybody else to believe in you. And nobody can stop you from doing it but yourself. So if you really want to do it, and you have that commitment and that drive and that ambition, there's no reason that you can't do it. I would never tell anybody that they can't accomplish that, because you absolutely 100% can. It'll take a lot of dedication. It'll take a lot of sacrifice, but it's worth it. is well worth it. And that experience will be something that you'll have with you for the rest of your life. And it'll be an experience that you'll cherish and you'll love, and it'll mean a lot to you. So the sacrifice and the dedication, it might seem tough in the moment, but when you look back on it, when your career is over, I promise you it'll be worth it. So I'll just tell them to stay the course and just trust the process, and just fall in love with the process of getting better and doing that continuously and doing that routinely. And nobody can stop you from your dreams but yourself.
That's excellent advice, young man. This question for all four of you. So we'll start with Savannah, and I'll qualify this by saying, remember that this is a family-oriented show that we're doing here, which is, by the way, today presented by our friends at Seed and Joiner. But the question is, do you have a favorite or funniest story from team travel? So Savannah, you're up.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest ones for me, my junior year, we were traveling to nationals, and our plane got like really delayed. Like, we were in the airport for several hours, and so Coach Rita was negotiating our bags, something to do with our baggage and our luggage and getting it changed, and I don't know. And the person she ended up dealing with was a former track official, or a former track coach. And so he ended up being on the phone with her. And it was really interesting seeing a track coach, track coach, my own coach. It was, she kind of maybe got mildly chewed out by the track official in the airport with us watching, which was, it was pretty funny. It was all in good fun. It was good natured, but it was, kind of satisfying.
If technically, if she's not your coach anymore, you don't have to worry about tiptoeing around it. Katarina, favorite or funniest travel story?
One of my most favorite stories we actually had in the Times was just 2 months ago. Oh, wow, I can't believe it was 2 months ago. It was just now at spring break in California, and it was actually the day before everything happened. We found out that our season was over, literally watching ESPN News that afternoon before having to play our last match, which unfortunately we didn't get to play. But the night before, we had a beautiful house in California. We were sitting by the bonfire, and for the first time ever, I don't know if because people felt like school was getting canceled and everything was over, everything was changing, everyone was very relaxed. And everyone was like, all the girls on the team, along with coaches, it just, for the first time ever, it felt very relaxed and like a true family where there's not worries about school or exams or the next match or the frustration about something that happened. Everyone's just kind of sharing their experiences and their funniest stories over the past 4 years. And we laughed for like 3 hours straight.
That's great. And ultimately, that's what you're going to remember most, more than the competition itself, is the time you spent together with those people. Bo, moving a football team for a road game is such a huge operation. What's your story?
Let's see. It seems like we're always playing pranks on people. So one that comes to mind was, I forgot what game it was this year, but one of the fifth years as a lineman had the idea that we should prank call people on the hotel phone. So we would ask around for room numbers, and we'd call down to their rooms, pretend we were the front desk, and either say we had them on film, like scratching somebody's car in the parking lot, or that there's some terrible smell coming from their room, or asking for the
I think Bo has frozen on us.
stupid stuff.
There he goes.
This wasn't traveling. This was just at Furman. Can you hear me?
We can now.
Oh, I was breaking up.
Yeah, you froze on us for a minute when I think the last thing we heard you say was that you were calling people and telling them that they were on camera scratching someone's car.
Yeah. So we'd either tell them that they were either scratching somebody's car in the parking lot, or that there was a terrible smell coming from their room, that asking if they blew up the toilet or anything like that. So, and then we just see their reactions and let them know it was us eventually. But one of the funniest things we did, this wasn't traveling, is we got the entire O-line to convince one of the freshman O-linemen that he needed to go in to the training room to get tested because they found dihydrogen monoxide in the water, which, if you're familiar with chemistry at all, that's just water. And so he started freaking out and went early in the morning to the training room to talk to the trainer to get tested. So that was a funny story. But yeah, always playing pranks.
And George Quarles was laughing at that. That'd be in the old days like taking somebody out on a snipe hunt, wouldn't it? Jordan, what's your funny team travel story?
Let me think. I think for me, I would just say, I can't remember. It was my junior year. One of those 3 trips I was talking about earlier, I can't remember which one. It wasn't the New Orleans trip, so it was either the Philadelphia or the Chicago trip. I can't remember. But we were in the Charlotte airport, and we got laid over. So we were in the Charlotte airport for a while, a pretty long time. And there wasn't even anything crazy about the story, but it's just the fact that we were laid over so long. We were in there, and it was just a time where we were able to just debrief from really all things basketball, and we were just able to just, as teammates, just as guys, we were able to just kind of cut up with each other and just chill and, not have any of the stresses and pressures of the games or anything like that. We're just able to really enjoy each other and just cut up, and we're a bunch of jokesters. My team, we're a bunch of jokesters. So we were able to just sit together and just cut up and just really enjoy each other. There was a lot of funny jokes made within that long layover. I can't think of anything like catastrophically funny or anything like that, but I do remember just being in that Charlotte airport for a long time, just cutting up with the guys, just being able to debrief and not worry about hoops for the moment, for the time being, just kind of enjoy each other in the present time and just kind of cut up and be the jokesters that we are. Say that was even though it was pretty tragic that we were delayed for so long, like I'll always remember that layover just because we were able to spend so much time just kind of cutting up and just really being ourselves without the stresses and pressures of ball or anything like that.
Awesome. All right, 2 more questions, and we want all 4 of you to answer those questions. The first one from Jason is, what's your favorite moment as a Paladin? Savannah?
I think my favorite moment as a Paladin was my sophomore year at Nationals. It was our first time ever making Nationals on the women's side, and I don't know what we were ranked, but we were like probably somewhere in like the high teens or something like that. And I remember coming across the line, and someone had told me, like with the K to go, that we were in 6th, and we ended up finishing in 7th, and I just remember being so thrilled and so happy, and we were all just hugging each other and so excited about it. It was Allie's senior year, so it was really special that we were able to do that for her and do that for each other, and yeah, I'll never forget that day.
Awesome. Katarina, what's your favorite moment been?
I actually have plenty, but unfortunately with tennis and these individual tournaments, a lot of them I play outside, not at Furman. So my definitely favorite memory was this past fall. We have our Furman Fall Classic, which is one of the most prestigious college tennis tournaments in the country. And I was playing Kelly Chen, who was number 5 in the country at that time. And I had my whole team right behind the fence. My whole team, all my family members and friends and my coaches right there, and ended up beating. That was my best win at Furman yet. And I think that moment after winning them, having everyone right there with me, was the first time I ever experienced it. It was definitely unforgettable.
That's great. Bo Layton, your favorite moment as a Paladin?
Let's see, running onto the field in Macon at Mercer junior year, getting a piece of the SoCon championship was awesome. And that was an unforgettable moment. We were going crazy, just on top of the world. But other than that, just beating Wofford in anything. I get so much satisfaction out of any team on campus beating Wofford. We had a great win over Wofford junior year, I think when they were number 4. We upset them. And then beating Wofford at the Well this year was awesome. That's my favorite basketball game I've ever been to. Like that was just an unbelievable win. So yeah, anytime beating Wofford.
Jordan, your favorite moment as a Paladin? Can you narrow it down to one?
Yeah, there's a lot, but definitely my favorite was definitely the Villanova win. That just the program chemistry / belief / trust / love. There's about 100 adjectives you could throw in there, but it was like something I've never experienced before. And they were number 8 in the country. They were the defending national champions. Nobody in the world besides Furman basketball thought that we were going to win that game. And for us to go out there and be down 10 in the first half and never lose belief and just be able to look. The coolest thing about that was I was able, throughout that whole game, no matter what the adversity was, I was able to look in my coaches and my teammates' eyes, and I could tell that the whole time we were never rattled. And the whole time I could tell that the belief that we were going to win the game was still always there. And we took them to overtime, and we won the game. And it's so crazy. Like I've just never been a part of a game like that, with the team, with the program, with the community. It was really special. I remember it forever. And the locker room afterwards, Coach Ritchie came in, jumping and dancing, and Trey Clark dumped the water on him, and it was just like one of those moments that you just never. I'm pretty sure none of us will ever forget it. Everyone that was a part of it will never forget it. And then a close second was when we got ranked. Being ranked was really, really, really special, just because it was the first time in school history. Kind of like the Villanova thing, like nobody going into that year would have ever told you that Furman basketball would be ranked in the AP top 25, and it was something that we did together, and it was really special to be a part of. But Villanova gets the edge because that was a win over the national champs, and just the belief and chemistry and the bond that the program had that night was something that's just unforgettable.
I think everybody on here would have been surprised if that was not your favorite moment.
Yeah, that was probably a pretty predictable one.
Yeah. All right, final question, and we'll just go right back and start with Savannah again. What's next? Now that you're a Furman grad, what's next?
Yeah, I'm headed to Princeton in the fall to get my PhD in chemistry, so that's very exciting. And then I'm gonna see if I can hop into some professional races up there while I'm training, and maybe even see if I can get an Olympic trials qualifier. So that's kind of an exciting goal to look forward to. But yeah, very excited.
Katarina?
So dream of mine has always been to play professional tennis afterwards. And I couldn't be more grateful for the NCAAs and you guys and Furman for giving me another year of eligibility. But I would love to come back, but it all depends on the professional tournaments and how they go in the fall and when they come back. Because what I think the biggest struggle with that is that professional tournaments are worldwide. So they can't bring it back unless they allow travels and players from all around the world to come. And at this moment right now, that seems like a far away from right now. But we'll see how it goes. But I actually have one of the questions I got privately about how has Furman and college tennis prepared me for the professional level. And I think with that, tennis being an individual sport, it all comes from us, right? Being determined and willing to go above and beyond what we're supposed to do. And I had such an incredible time, and I've beyond grateful for my teammates and coaches. I mean, the past 4 years, I have improved tremendously, and I couldn't have done it without them and without pushing them off and on the court, especially. And I think them teaching me how to be a better leader, how to be a better person has really helped me on court and has made me become a different, stronger, and more confident player. And when I play these professional tournaments, there's a huge difference between a player who has decided to go pro when they were a little kid, has never went to school, and compared to these college girls who luckily there's way more of us right now at these tournaments. And I think us as being much more confident and much more stable in our what we believe in and who we are, I think has really helped us build on not only professional levels, but in all aspects of our life.
Very well said. Bo, I think you've already kind of told us what's in your immediate future is trying to get into medical school, right?
Right. Yeah. So currently studying for the MCAT. I've been doing that for a few months. I'll take that coming up middle of June, so about a month out. But last week I accepted a position as a clinical research assistant at the American Sports Medicine Institute and Andrews Orthopedic Clinic in Birmingham. So I'll be in Birmingham for a year doing research. And during that time, I'll be applying to med schools, and hopefully I'll get in one that I apply to. And then, yeah, med school after that, and then lots more school.
That's Dr. James Andrews, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what he's most famous for?
A lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of surgeries.
Yeah, but particularly which surgery?
Which one?
You said you wanted to play baseball, right?
Right.
The Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
On the elbow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going to a good one. You're going
He
to
is. Yeah, he's a pioneer in orthopedics. So
yeah,
it's
no kidding.
I'm gonna have a lot to learn. Yeah.
Jordan Lyons, what's next, man?
For me, it's always been a dream of mine to be a professional athlete as well, and the Lord's blessed me with that ability. So I will be playing professional basketball here in the future. Where to be determined at the time. Corona virus has leagues everywhere. Obviously not playing right now, so all the leagues everywhere pretty much trying to figure out, when they'll be starting back up and whatnot. But I have a really good agent who's been working, so he's been talking to a couple teams here in America, and we'll see how that plays out. If I don't end up playing in America, then I'll play professionally internationally. So regardless, I'll be playing professional somewhere, but due to the crazy circumstances right now, I don't know where at the moment, but that will be the next chapter of my life. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it.
I'll tell you the same thing that I told the former Furman baseball player Billy Greenfield. He had the opportunity to go play professionally for a couple of years in Germany, which you don't hear very much about playing baseball there. But you've got a Furman degree in your back pocket, so that's
Absolutely.
a nice little safety net. Chase the dream.
No,
man.
no doubt.
Chase the dream.
That's forever. That can't be taken away.
That's great. Well, listen, it's been wonderful for me to get a chance to do this. I love hosting these things. Jordan's a guy that I get to interact with quite a bit. Bo as well. Really the first time I've had a chance to interact at all with Katarina and Savannah, and I've really enjoyed spending some time with you two ladies here today as well. Congratulations on all of you for reaching the top of that mountain and getting that Furman degree. We know the hard work that went into it, and I know I speak for everybody in the athletic department saying best of luck in whatever your next endeavor is, and we know that you're all going to be highly successful.
Thank you, and thanks for having us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk with you guys. I enjoyed it.